Warning: the following video may educate, enlighten, and broaden your horizons, and unfortunately is affiliated with ScytherInc Productions. The musings and quotations do not reflect those of the ScytherInc team, whereas all merit therein lies solely with TWS Productions. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, oh uneducated ones. I am your lovely host for the evening, the Professor. Many of you may call me the Profez. It is time for your lesson in professional wrestling. Apparently it seems that there is a lot of tripe going on right now, especially over what happened on last week on Monday Night Raw. And it seems that the internet wrestling fans have gotten so upset over Monday Night Raw that they have actually sworn off professional wrestling altogether. And you see, that is exactly why we are here today. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a matter of that the wrestling fans are tired of pro wrestling, they are just sick of the flavor of pro wrestling. And here's the weirdest thing that I've come to notice here. I mean, not everyone can have a degree from Oxford and know the in and outs of the wrestling business. But these are the same people that will actually sit there and complain so badly about how bad the state of professional wrestling is that they'll actually spend hours upon hours upon hours on end having their own websites, having their own ideas, having their own opinions, mind you, going into forums and web blogs and doing all of these things, especially here on this forum known as YouTube. And they will express their exact hatred for a company that they at one point used to love. I kind of find it a little bit strange that these are the people that have absolutely no interest whatsoever in learning how to be a professional wrestler or even understanding the ins and outs of the pro wrestling business. You see, it is all so hypocritical if you think about it. 5 years ago, people were chanting John Cena's name in the crowd. Now they're booing him because they're tired of the flavor. It is perfectly okay to be tired of a flavor of ice cream, but it is okay to add a little bit of topping to it. But yet the people are so biased to what they feel is right and what should happen, and yet they never worked a day in their life in professional wrestling, that yet anything that WWE does, of course, to them is absolute backwater. See, a wrestling purist like myself, who grew up watching NWA and AWA and the IWA, ROH, WCW, WCCW, WWF, World Wrestling Federation, and later WWE. I know all of the ins and outs. That's why I got a degree. That is why I am smarter than every single one of you. But it is okay. That is why you're getting an education. You see, you have to look at it like this. Many years ago, you have all of these wrestling fans who grew up watching Gorgeous George and George Steele and Lou Thez and all of these magnificent wrestlers. And then you have a guy like Vincent McMahon who totally revolutionizes the business with guys like Hulk Hogan, Rowdy Piper. And then you have Randy Savage and all these other larger-than-life athletes who are characters and parodies of basically our society, performing an act upon a stage better known as a ring. And people ate it up, and they felt that it was real, and they felt that it was a part of them. And yet as the years went on, some of the characters, they changed, such as Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog. And you had guys like Vader and Sting and Flair. They became on the scene. They became extraordinary characters. They became more aloof in their own abilities. They became, as what we like to call, legends. That is where the term legend got thrown around. That is where people started saying that I'm a legend, he's done this, he's done that, and again, we ate it all up. But then all of a sudden, the same people that were watching these people that said that wrestling was great back then were getting bored with the product. They were getting so bored with the product that they were turning to other things. In fact, they didn't watch wrestling as much as they used to because they found it to be too cartoonish, too just boring, as they like to say. And yet what happens, you have this little promotion out in the middle of Philadelphia called ECW, who turned up the volume when it came to hardcore. There are some people that say that it was WCW that turned up the dial first, but that is a debate for another time. But yet, for instance, you have ECW, who comes in and revolutionizes the whole business, and then you have WWF and WCW completely changing the volume. And you had a total split and dichotomy. You had wrestling fans who were sitting there, who enjoyed the wrestling of old, who enjoyed the Bret Harts and the Shawn Michaels and the Hulk Hogans and the Randy Savages. They watched it for the sport of professional wrestling, and they saw professional wrestling be turned little by little into a segment show. It became, as many of you like to call it, a dick joke. The Attitude Era ran wild with guys like Triple H, The Undertaker, like Kane, like The Rock, and your golden savior, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yes, that was the golden savior of professional wrestling. And they ran WWF with an iron fist, and they completely abolished the entire golden era of professional wrestling. Wrestling became fun again. The same people that said wrestling was boring were either rejuvenated or they turned away. And they brought in a whole new legion of people, a whole new legion of fans that would start and watch and praise professional wrestling for what it really was and what it really should be. Nothing more than just a stage act. And as the Attitude Era slowly died away and the Monday Night Wars came to a crash, we then came into what many people like to call the Entertainment Era. That's when the John Cenas, that's when the John Morrisons, the Batistas, that's when all those guys came into the mix and they started to take over. And yet the same people that sat there and said they did not like the Attitude Era still continued to watch. The same people that turned off from professional wrestling may have come back or may have gone to other venues. And yet the same people that stood behind John Cena and chanted his name are the same ones that, just like those in the Attitude Era, who left when The Rock left, whom left when Stone Cold Steve Austin left, and whom left when all of their favorite wrestlers that they only paid to see one or two moves of completely faded away and left the business. They slowly started to leave. Yes, you see, that's the problem with professional wrestling today. It's not the wrestling, it's not the show, it's the wrestling fans. You see, that is why WWE can never, ever be where they need to be, because they build a star and the fans don't know if they want to cheer that star or if they want to hate that star. But the problem is, they build stars up. They try to bring them up to the brink. Whether you have politics or not is just a totally different story. But the best part is, and yes, this is the best part, you can write this down and take detailed notes, ladies and gentlemen. The wrestling fans are so erratic. They want Randy Orton. They want Randy Orton. They want Randy Orton. They give him the title and the fans don't care anymore. The internet wrestling community, the wrestling fans as you like to call them, who pay big bucks to go to these wrestling shows. They go and they have the time of their lives, and when they come home and they watch it on TV, they hate it so much. They hate the state of professional wrestling so bad that they actually will spend time and write blogs on what's wrong with the business, and yet they've been watching for almost 30 years or 15 years or 10 years or even 5 years, and they actually think that they know what's good about pro wrestling. They actually think they know what's adequate for pro wrestling. Yet the funny thing is, they were all lured in by Vincent McMahon, who took every single thing that the wrestling fans of today thought what used to be good and revolutionized it. He turned everything into a revolution. He was a revolutionary in the business, and everybody seemed to eat it up. But now it seems that everyone has gotten smarter, everyone has gotten more adept. The people know that there's other promotions out there, and they think they know that just because it works over here, it's going to work over there. People are absolutely appalled when WWE tries to do something different and new, or that they drop the ball. And that's why they hate the professional wrestling so badly, when yet they can't just sit back and enjoy the product for what it is. Some people actually take it way too seriously, and I think that is a big problem. Professional wrestling is not in a slump. No. Wrestling is not in a slump at all. In fact, believe it or not, it is the wrestling fans who are in a slump, because they don't know what they want, and when they finally get it, they turn off. It's such a shame that the CM Punks and the Zack Ryders of today are now just going to be washed up internet darlings, because that's all they are. They are nothing more than a small 5% of what the internet community really wants, when the actual fans who go to the shows and enjoy the shows for what they are and embrace the shows for what they are, those are the real wrestling fans like myself. I'm in it for the drama, I'm in it for the suspense, and if John Cena wins all the time, that's just the way it is, because the best part is, Hulk Hogan always won, and all the fans out there ate it up. They ate it up and gobbled it. Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen won all the time, and yet the fans ate it up. But all of a sudden now, the times have changed and everyone says, no, that's not how it works. He has to lose. This guy has to win. And of course, we all know that's not how it works. If Vince McMahon did not know what he was doing, he wouldn't be around as long as he is, promoting the product that he has, making the money that he does. Which is why John Cena is one of the most highly in-demanded wrestlers, not just on Make-A-Wish, but on any single media outlet there is. And all of you wrestling fans that are going to sit there and doubt me, just remember, if you hate professional wrestling so much, and it leaves a festering hole in the pit of your belly, if it's so bad, why do you continue to watch? I am the Professor, and that is today's lesson. Hopefully I all enlightened you with the truth of professional wrestling.